Watch this video till the end if you want to know the effects of mukbang on your brain, as well as the various psychological profiles that research has seen in those who watch mukbang videos on a regular basis. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Street Kiwi Show. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you're to ask me. And if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or a vodka and let's roll. Today, I want to have a conversation about one of my favorite topics, and that's mukbang. I watch mukbang videos as well, and I just wanted to have some kind of discussion based on the research that we have compiled, and we wanted to share them with you. So we are going to show on the screen right now. We have researched about 15 to 20 articles. They have done a lot of work around mukbang watching, and we're trying to analyze three things. We're trying to analyze the effect of mukbang on your brain, and we're trying to analyze the various psychological profiles that you have in the mukbang watcher community, as well as you also have to analyze the psychological effects or the psychological profiles, if you will, of those mukbangers. I will use the term foodcasters. So the host of those mukbang videos, the sort of projections, psychological projections that you have in society. So binging on YouTube videos is nothing new, but binging on actual binging, however, is an entirely new twist on video consumption. Think about it. So an ever-growing number of people are tuning in to watch mukbang, and this is a Korean phenomenon that involves people posting fake videos involving them not just cooking food but also eating it. So the trend has grown into a worldwide sensation and often involves massive consumption of foods in nauseating quantities. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love mukbang, but admit it. The quantities are indeed nauseating. So hosts will often prepare or buy a meal, sit down and eat as part of a live stream, sometimes watched by hundreds or thousands of fans. So the meal is interactive if you really think about it, because it allows viewers to interact with the host. Many times the whole purpose is to see the mukbang host taking multiple servings. So this trend is social and interactive. So watching someone eat while possibly having a meal at the same time, and guess what? Perhaps the same meal that they're watching a mukbang entertainer consume on the screen feels a certain longings in modern society with less personal interactions, according to research. So we're going to show you an article here that we read, a very great article called the psychology of mukbang watching, a scope and review of the academic and non-academic literature. And this was written by 4 researchers, and we're showing this on the screen. And this is a new article. It came out in 2020, and you can see it on the screen here. And we also have, so this is the same article that with the abstract, with the summary. So what's the deal here? This study was conducted with a simple objective. It was to review the current user base, the current psychological profiles of mukbang watchers, to understand a few things. What are the psychological characteristics of mukbang viewers? And they also wanted to know what are the psychological consequences of mukbang watching, which in our view, it's even more important. So the article, the review of those academic outputs, they showed several common themes, including there is a social use of mukbang. There is a sexual use of mukbang. That's very interesting. You're gonna see very soon what I mean by that. There is an entertainment use of mukbang. There is an escapist, what researchers are calling escapist use of mukbang. There is a vicarious eating use of mukbang, and there are some consequences of mukbang watching. So let me quickly, I think I've said it before, but for those who are not really familiar with the whole mukbang thing, what is mukbang? So also known as mukbang. Excuse my Korean, I'm still working on it. So the term actually originated from the 2 Korean words meaning eaten, muknun, and broadcast, bangsung. So it's a portmanteau. It's a portmanteau term. So combined, mukbang describes an eaten broadcast. I call it foodcast. For me, it's just a nicer term. But the popularity of mukbang started in South Korea in 2011. So fast forward to modern day. Today, hundreds and thousands of people continue to tune in to watch so-called broadcast jockeys, the foodcasters. So the jockey or host binge eats large quantities of food in front of a live stream. So mukbang videos are mostly featured nowadays though on YouTube, and you have millions of views. So but mukbang has evolved from Korean culture and carried over into the United States and other countries, other Western countries, by the way. So let me give you, for example, you have a lot of very popular mukbangers or foodcasters such as Nikocado, Bloveslife, Quang, Tran, Any Let's Eats in Canada, and those hosts have amassed millions of views, millions of subscribers, and it's just been a fantastic ride for them. Truly, the train continues nowadays to grow in popularity. Besides, the mukbang stars often receive donations from viewers or they even partner with sponsors. Some foodcasters, they make millions of dollars annually, and they use mukbanging as their full-time job. However, it is very important to understand that nutrition experts indicate potential risks and benefits of the growing trend. So let's just kind of understand the question here, or let's go back into the question. Should you or should you not be tuning into this growing trend of mukbang watching? Let's first examine. I think I told you here that there were several themes that researchers have pondered, and let's first sort of talk about the social use of mukbang. So one of the most noted aspects of the mukbang phenomenon was its role in social facilitation. So researchers actually have described the cases of 3 female mukbangers, I would say foodcasters, one Singaporean, one South Korean, and one American, and they discussed mukbang from a feminist studies perspective. Think about that. So I'm showing right now the research, the article on the screen, and according to those researchers, mukbang videos had the potential to counteract loneliness and isolation by doing what? By connecting and sharing a similar interest with a virtual community. That's very important. So despite the scarcity of research on psychological predictors and consequences of mukbang phenomenon, those researchers concluded that watching mukbang while dining could potentially provide viewers a sense of digital commensality. So when you hear the word commensality, this is just jargon for eating together. All right. So digital commensality means you're in together online, even though you're not seeing the person or you're not close to the person. You have a sense of community, and this digital commensality fosters, according to research, feelings of affective connection with other individuals. And we have the research here that backs it up. And the thing is that some researchers have also looked into the interaction, if you will, of South Korean culture and mukbang phenomenon by reviewing newspaper coverage concerning mukbangers, the foodcasters. And what they've seen is that mukbang watching enabled a lot of viewers to communicate. Think about that, to communicate with thousands of individuals from home while watching someone eat. So you're having the interaction between the host, the foodcaster, and the viewers, but you also have a level of interaction among the viewers themselves. That's fantastic, right? If you think about it. So the thing here is that the researchers are seeing this sort of phenomenon across the board, not just in South Korea, but also in the West. So there is, for example, they saw that in the West or in the East, if you will, viewers across all age groups were increasingly suffering from living alone and being lonely in single-person households. And this elevated social isolation led them to watching mukbang as a means to have eating partners and feeling emotionally connected to others. So according to another type of research, they've seen that the emotional connection and empathy felt towards mukbangers are also important contributors in watching mukbang. So, for example, one leading foodcaster facilitated this the aforementioned connection among his male audience members via eating food in army training outfits in a room decorated with different army paraphernalia. That's fantastic. I'm talking here about toy rifles, battle figures that reminded viewers of nostalgic memories of their service as a soldier. And another thing you have to understand here is that the positive remarks about the mukbanger, about the foodcaster and food advanced higher feelings of community and positive emotions among those who watched mukbang. And the thing here is that research has also seen that the mukbang viewers enjoyed seeing women eating messily, being noisy, demonstrating pleasure, and eating too much, even though they saw these behaviors as transgressive acts. So there was a researcher called Gillespie, and he did some work in 2019 where he showed that female viewers were particularly drawn to mukbang because they feel connected to other females who were eating very large portions of unhealthy food messily and open to the public. So the gist here is that social presence and interaction among viewers might also become uncontrolled. For example, some viewers had become so connected to each other that guess what? That they started using specific mukbang channels just to communicate with each other. And we see the research here. And some viewers even insulted mukbangers for their appearance and the amount of food they consumed. In other words, you have some kind of moralism sinking in right now. And other viewers spread rumors about the foodcasters they watched in order to damage their reputation and relationships with others. So what I'm trying to say here is that the social use of mukbang watching, the social use of mukbang as a psychological outlet is pretty diverse. Let's now talk about the sexual use of mukbang watching. This is a very interesting one. So another aspect of mukbang was its sexual use. So research actually shown that mukbang might be comprehended as a fetishizing. I can't pronounce that word, but in other words, people are using it as some kind of fetish. So fetishizing. So mukbang can be understood as fetishizing women eating. So people have this sort of fetish by watching women eating. And the research argued that the self-portrayal of women eating huge amounts of harmful food, showing the shameful appetite that women conceal, which was susceptible to sexualizing women's bodies. This is kind of deep. And the thing is that research also pointed out the potential sexual objectification of female body and reinforcement of the normative values regarding thinness and consumerism. So the goal here is that researchers are advocating, or at least they're positing, that slim and attractive female mukbangers were usually surrounded by overweight male fans and viewers. So according to another research, mukbang has a sexual aspect with its facilitation of a sexualized gaze to attractive foodcasters while they were in a somewhat private and, if you understand, maybe vulnerable state. In other words, they're eating, so this could be seen as vulnerable because it's a biological act. So some researchers have found that viewers reacted with different feelings to these sexual and eating sensations provided by mukbang videos, including pleasure, desire, longing, envy, horror, disgust, and shame. Those are really the quintessential, if you will. These are the quintessential elements, the quintessential effects that you see when we're talking about sexuality, but also you see them when we talk about mukbang watching. So I just want to say something though, that only a few cross-sectional studies have examined mukbang phenomenon. So in a self-report cross-cultural study, there were researchers, so Pereira and his team in 2019, they surveyed 114 Asian and 129 Caucasian participants to examine while online consumers watch mukbang. And what they've shown is that host attractiveness, in other words, if you have a very beautiful foodcaster or a gorgeous foodcaster for men. So host attractiveness was positively related to attitudes towards mukbang in both samples. So according to Pereira, even though the study only examined physical attractiveness of the mukbanger, there were well-known mukbangers with high social ability and likability rather than physical beauty who gathered large numbers of viewers. However, the study also emphasized the importance of physical attraction towards foodcasters among viewers. So one of the limitations of the study was that the sample comprised both those who watched mukbang and those who did not know anything about mukbang. So yeah, you might want to take this study a little bit. You cannot extrapolate the results given that little restriction, given that limitation that you have in the study. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We're still here having a conversation around the effects of mukbang on your brain, as well as the various psychological profiles you have in the community of those people who watch mukbang on a continuous basis, on a regular basis. So I've talked to you about the social use of mukbang watching, and I've also talked to you about the sexual use of mukbang watching. If you love the content I'm sharing with you so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell just to receive in real time whenever we drop a new show, all the shows we drop. And we drop shows every single day, rain or shine. All right. If you love the content, please share, like, comment, and tell us what kind of use you have for mukbang watching. In other words, why do you watch mukbang? And be honest here. Be honest. Okay. The next use of mukbang watching is entertainment. It's for entertainment. Personally, and people in our team, we watch it for entertainment. So this is the entertainment use. People use it for to fulfill sexual desires. They use it for social connection. People use it for entertainment, and for us, this is what it is. So individuals who watch mukbang also seek entertainment. So research has shown that viewers extracted different gratifications from watching mukbangs, including the enjoyment of the eating sounds that the foodcaster made, for example, slurping, chewing, right? Some other researchers suggested that viewers obtained pleasure from different sensations, including listening to eating and cooking sounds, such as chewing noises, preparing foods, and sounds from opening up food packages. And the research has also claimed that this sounds provided in something called ASMR. That's the autonomous sensory meridian response. So ASMR, and you have a gazillion of ASMR videos on YouTube and other social media platforms nowadays. So this sounds provided in ASMR experienced by causing static-like tingling sensations along the skin and triggering a sense of happiness and relief. So the research also argued that this sounds increased viewers' feeling of telepresence, and this is an important element here. Telepresence meaning you are part of the game, you're part of the action, and you're part of the action. Even though you live in 3,000 miles away, you feel close to the foodcaster. You are in the kitchen with her or him. You are in the dining room with her or him, and you are part of the action. And some other researchers theorized that the edited non-simultaneous interaction between the viewers and the foodcasters also provided an alluring view of the whole show, as well as a captivating viewing experience for the audience. One thing we have to remember, though, folks, is that research has also shown that for other viewers, mukbang could become an experience of ASMR, where the viewers were keener on the sounds produced by the act of eating than the consumption itself. So in other words, there are people who don't even watch the show. They just they might be driving to work, they might be in the train, they might be doing something, they might be working out, for instance, by having just the sound, the ASMR. That will give them the same benefit, the same enjoyment that a normal watching experience will. So the researchers have also noted the potential entertainment gratifications of mukbang that help viewers achieve sensory satisfaction and amusement through sharing others' eating experiences. Besides the entertainment use, you also have the escapist use. And what is that? This is very simple. Escapism means that you are fleeing reality. You are escaping from reality. So some studies have theorized that viewers use mukbang watching as an escape from reality, and they have some research papers have concluded that individuals watching mukbang are there for different reasons, and they're there for different motivations. So some of the viewers wanted to observe someone eat different foods because of their inability to access a wide variety of different foods. So because they were maybe hospital patients, for example. And another reasons for South Korean, Americans, Canadians, Britons, and other viewers being drawn to mukbang videos was that they wanted to alleviate stress, right? So if you are, let's say you are stressed in your normal life, you're trying to do something else, you're trying to escape that reality, and you are watching mukbang videos to alleviate, to reduce stress. And some researchers speculated that South Koreans and Americans and Canadians and others who watch this kind of shows, they reduced their stress from their fast-paced and hyper-competitive way of life by watching someone else eat. So one thing that we saw, and that was while we were doing research for this show, we read a great research paper written by Bruno and Quang and came out in 2017, in which they actually said that viewers try to escape from a sense of guilt and stress of being fat by watching mukbang. That's very powerful. In addition, teenagers who were bored or hungry, and if they were hungry late in the evening, as well as youngsters who were alone, they would watch the videos. And especially if they would like to order food but could not because their parents were at home, they enjoyed mukbang as an escape from unpleasant reality. Especially if those are teenagers who are living in, I would say, modest households and who could not afford the food they were watching the foodcasters eat. For them is a great, it's just a great way, a great outlet to leave their reality, at least through digital platforms, through digital means. And this is a growing, I would say this is a growing phenomenon that has been seen, not just, it started 10 years ago in South Korea, but nowadays you have it in the States, you have it in other countries, and the people are trying to find ways to cope with the reality. Not even cope with it, to escape it. You also have an eating use when it comes to mukbang watching. So one of the key compensations provided by mukbang watching was that the viewers had something that researchers are calling vicarious eating. So the research has emphasized that individuals watched mukbang videos to have the experience of eating vicariously through mukbangers because they were on diets. I think I personally have used that too. I'm guilty as charged. So one researcher, Chloe, posited that viewers extracted different gratifications from watching mukbangs, including having excitement for the eaten food and satisfaction of watching mukbangers conspicuously consume the food they craved while they were on a diet. And mukbangers, according to research, also help satisfy food cravings of the viewers by giving them a vicarious pleasure of eating. So according to that researcher, Chloe, viewers had a vicarious satisfaction of eating from mukbang via obtaining visual and audio. So you have visual and audio stimulation. So as a result, considering the mouth-watering scenery of the act of eating, if you think about it, you have and the camera is very up close, and so considering that the mouth-watering scenery of the act of eating, remember we have something called orgasmic first bite, that very first bite, and as well as the continuous pleasure cues given by mukbangers throughout the video. Mukbang was kind of similar to food porn. Instead of the food images or food-related television shows. So the interaction between mukbangers and fans, for example, responding to fan requests as they eat, talking while eating, those were making mukbang similar to webcam porn, according to research. So some dieting female viewers watched mukbang as a satisfaction of their fetishistic desires for vicarious consumption while avoiding actual eating. So, and there was a lot of analysis done in South Korea and in the United States, but they saw, for example, researchers saw, for instance, that in South Korea, when watching someone eat on cameras, viewers felt as if they were eating and they could almost taste the food and the consequent feeling of satiety. So another thing is that some researchers argued that magical eating fantasy, in other words, the idea of eating as much as desired without suffering the consequences, was one of the most important motivations that drove individuals to watch mukbang. So according to a researcher, Gillespie, watching mukbang provided viewers satisfaction via the sensation of binge eating themselves. So some viewers used mukbangers as a proxy for eating by creating a reality where they were becoming the mukbangers by proxy as a way of fulfilling their fantasies of eating. Another, and continuing on the whole explanation of using mukbang as eating use. In other words, people are actually eating, they have the vicarious eating phenomenon when they're watching mukbangs. Research has concluded that some viewers did not care about the mukbangers, the foodcasters, and saw them as prostitutes who consume whatever viewers demand in exchange for money. You've seen this in some parts of the United States. You've seen it in South Korea. You've seen it in Canada too. So those researchers are theorizing that the main beneficiaries of vicarious pleasures provided by mukbang were individuals who were on a diet. So they are saying that mukbang was a complex phenomenon that shared some common features with food porn and food voyeurism. And they claim that viewers got vicarious satisfaction from watching the food being eaten, and which part of the viewer's vicarious pleasure came from the eating performance of the foodcaster. And those researchers also theorized that it was very important for some of the viewers that mukbanger ate the food they selected and desired. So now you have some kind of a customization here, some kind of a personalization. So the foodcaster has to eat the food that the viewers voted on. So viewers' vicarious pleasure demanded a large quantity of unhealthy food to be consumed. So making loud sounds while eating and showing the food in an appetizing way on camera attracted the viewers, especially the ones who were on a diet. So most of these viewers watched to see the food, not to see the mukbanger's face. So viewers wanted the mukbanger to eat it with hearty and keen enjoyment to satisfy themselves. And we actually have seen also a very interesting American study, and there was an American study that came out in 2017, and that study was on how mukbang could affect viewers. So the consequences on your brain, and researchers concluded that what they did is they actually conducted several experiments, and those experiments examined the vicarious satiation. Yeah, I got it. The vicarious satiation phenomenon by observing how watching others consume specific foods affected viewers' desires towards those particular foods. For example, if you're watching a mukbang pizza show and the host, the foodcaster, has a large pizza on camera, how watching that foodcaster consume all that humongous pizza, how would that affect your desire towards the pizza itself? So the thing here is that the first experiment indicated that viewers who watched someone else eat a pizza desired less pizza than before watching the video. Right. This is kind of interesting. So that was the first experiment. And then you have the second experiment that demonstrated that viewers who watched someone eat M&Ms, a brand of candy, postponed consumption of M&Ms and chose to eat another product after watching the video. And the third experiment showed that this lessening effect was present only among those observers who watched someone that shared their political view eat the candy. That's interesting. So as a result of these three experiments, the researchers concluded that individuals could experience vicarious satiation when they observed others' consumption as their own. I'll be right back. Right after this, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are actually talking about the mukbang's effect on your brain, and we have actually also sort of reviewed the various psychological profiles of viewers in the mukbang watching community. And now I want to talk to you about the consequences of mukbang watching. By the way, if you love the clarity and quality of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be informed in real time whenever we drop a new show. And so like this content, share and comment. Most importantly, comment. We want to hear your side of the debate. What kind of mukbang watcher are you? What kind of are you using it for escapism? Are you using it for eating use, like vicarious eating? Are you using it for entertainment purposes, sexual purposes, social purposes? Just let us know. What are the consequences of mukbang watching? So, research papers identified in the present list of articles that we have shown you. They found that mukbang watching can lead to potential desired and undesired consequences for the viewers. This is very important. So, one researcher theorized that one of the potentially harmful aspects of mukbang might be that individuals' consumption norms could easily be affected by others' consumption. And they also argued that viewers were susceptible to consuming more than they normally would if they see another individual consuming a large, high-calorie meal because of social comparison and mimicry. And those researchers theorized that watching mukbang videos where foodcasters ate very large portions of food might easily lead mukbang viewers to higher than normal consumption. And another research paper came out in 2017 and claimed that mukbang could promote problematic eating and food practices among both mukbangers and viewers for those who were already experiencing different eating problems. So the mukbang phenomenon damaged, for example, South Koreans' relationship with food and hunger by normalizing, if you will, conspicuous consumption of different foods that were not historically welcome in South Korea, such as Western fast food. And some research paper argued that elevated consumption promoted by mukbang could further contribute to the problems that South Korean society was already going through, including growing obesity, food disorders, and real-life social isolation. Two researchers, Hong and Park, in 2018, they identified and discussed different effects of mukbang watching upon South Korean viewers. And they claimed mukbang videos affected viewers' food selection in a way that the food consumed in mukbangs, for example, fast food or junk food, were sometimes different from South Koreans' traditional foods, and foodcasters influenced viewers' perception of these foods by urging viewers to enjoy instant meals, frozen food, and poor nourishing foods that were spicy and oily with a high caloric content. The second thing is that Hong and Park, those researchers also claimed that mukbang videos affected viewers' table manners because mukbangers usually exhibit bad eating behaviors, and they were also exhibiting poor table manners by snatching or scooping food or eating it up carelessly while conversing with their viewers with their mouths full. And research also emphasized that the eating habits of the eating sounds of the foodcasters, the sound that they emitted in order to stimulate viewers' senses, in which all of these behaviors contributed by snatching or scooping food and eating it up carelessly while conversing with these viewers with their mouths full. In other words, those poor table manners were a consequence. Actually, not a consequence, but those table manners, those poor table manners that you see in the video, they were actually triggered in real life situations. And research has also shown that those manners contributed to another phenomenon. And the mukbang videos also affect viewers' perception of food consumption and thinness, because mukbangers who were very thin and slim consumed very large portions of food and did not gain weight. This manipulated viewers' psychology to question their efforts to stay fit, right? And you have Bruno and Chung, and the study I mentioned earlier. They also emphasize that mukbang influenced social and cultural food behavior by altering viewers' food and brand preferences, because mukbangers could make viewers salivate over the real meal being eaten by the mukbanger. So the authors claim this influence could lead to decrease in homemade food production and an increase in fast food consumption. So let's talk now about the risks of mukbang. Watching mukbang is primarily up to the viewer's discretion, right? I'm not really telling you to watch or not watch. I personally, I watch it, so I don't have any problem with that. So, however, nutrition experts warn that it may promote overeating and encourage poor eating habits. So mukbang may promote overeating. So after watching some of the clips, there is not much question. The broadcast junkies, what some people call broadcast junkies, the foodcasters, overindulge on mass amounts of food. So the broadcast junkies can be the viewers too. So those junkies, mostly, again, junkies here is in brackets though. We're not calling people names. So those viewers mostly overeat on packs of ramen noodles, fried chicken, pizza, and the list goes on. Same thing for the foodcasters. So this ultimately raises the concern on whether or not they are promoting overeating or binge eating, or if they're simply aiming to grab the attention of their viewers and gain more of them. But nonetheless, the massive portions of food are consumed and keeps viewers tuning back in. Mukbang may also encourage poor eating habits. So research suggests that it takes on average 21 days to form a habit. So if consistently gorging on high volumes of food, we must wonder if poor eating habits are likely to form. So glamorizing high portions may not only accelerate large meal plates, but raising the intake of poor nutrition choices. So partaking in mukbang likely comes with health risks. So if eating large plates can start linking mukbang and weight gain. So this can in turn increase the risk of weight-related health conditions such as type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Besides, watching may be a trigger for disordered eating patterns and come with its own subset of risks. So those are the risks of mukbang. Let's now talk about the benefits, because there are benefits. There must be benefits, right? So mukbang may help break down barriers related to that culture. So today's that culture tends to place too much emphasis on what you should and should not eat, right? We always hear that. And this is likely an action to reach the right look. So mukbang, on the other hand, may break the stigma of avoiding bad foods, so-called bad foods, in such a diet-driven society. And this is kind of wonderful because it can open up the door for viewers to overcome food avoidance. In fact, if you take a foodcaster such as Eric the Electric, he has overcome anorexia, and he's open about how starting a YouTube channel helped him to do so. And viewers have commented watching the videos that watching the videos have made them more comfortable with eating. And this can empower individuals to feel comfortable, if you think about it, in their own skin, especially as the trend spreads its way to the West. We already have a portion of it in the United States, but not that much. So mukbang also brings people together from around the world. Think about it. Because those who watch feel involved in a larger social connection. They also start building connections with their favorite channels and broadcast junkies. So while viewers are miles apart, tuning in forms a unique kind of cohesion, synergy, unity from the comfort of social media accounts. So mukbang resurfaces a critical health piece many often dismiss: the importance of shared meals. Nowadays, we don't have time to have a shared meal anymore, but this is an important element. So whether it is with friends, family, neighbors, meals consumed together is a growing lost art. So the sleep of communal meals can be related to busy schedules, like I said, living alone, or any other life circumstances and situations. So individuals who tune into the Korean trend consistently mention the following theme. So this is feeling of a sense of community around eating food. So we got to recognize and realize the potential health consequences of mukbang watching. That's important. However, if struggling with disordered eating, it's very important, and we're just saying here that you want to reach out to a professional, to an expert to help you if you need help in terms of watching mukbang, or if this watching experience spills into something else. Now, what is the newspaper literature here? What are the conversations we're having here? As noted earlier, there has been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of conversation going on around the mukbang, the trends going on. But I want to end here. The discussion is still. We have taken some studies here, but we need more comprehensive. We need more studies to form a final opinion on the phenomenon of mukbang eating. We're not claiming anything here in this show, folks. We have done research, we have given you the results of that research, and it's up to you to form your own opinion. We're not saying that the foodcasters are doing anything wrong or the viewers are doing anything wrong. Not at all. Like I said, I love mukbang myself, but we just wanted to put the conversation out there and say, okay, if you are watching mukbang videos, there are research is showing that there are various uses of that. So you have the social use of mukbang, the sexual use of mukbang, the entertainment use of mukbang, the escapist use of mukbang, and the vicarious eating use of mukbang. And so it's up to you to understand in which category you fit in, or if you don't fit in any category at all. And also I've discussed the consequences of mukbang watching. So this is the start of a wonderful conversation. And if you have other questions, if you want to participate in the debate, please let us know, because we want to hear more from you. We personally watched, our team, we watch a lot of mukbang videos from Annie Let's Eat to Nikocado to Bloveslife to Quang, Tran, to a lot of top YouTubers out there, and we love them. I mean, they're just great. They are so gracious on screen, and for us, it's just fantastic. But it's interesting to have a conversation, to dig a little deeper, to see what's really behind that love, that appreciation for mukbang videos. All right. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to this conversation. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.